The origins of inequality, as we know it today, can be traced back roughly 5,000 years, when the first states, aka civilizations, emerged independently in various regions of the Old World and the Americas. This was a pivotal event. For the first time in humanity's more than 200,000 years history, large numbers of people were forced to live in societies with marked disparities in wealth and power that has since characterized human life on Earth. The increasing concentration of wealth in the hands of a small, parasitic ruling elite was accompanied by the growing exploitation of commoners and enslavement of peasant laborers. These conditions gave rise to a persistent structural antagonism between the ruling elites and the masses, a conflict that has persisted in different forms throughout history. To preserve their wealth and power, ruling elites have relied on strategies to manufacture consent and suppress resistance, the topic of this video. The rulers of state-level societies are parasitic because in every case a small minority at the top monopolizes nearly all resources and wealth, extracting labor, military service and taxes or tribute from the majority to sustain their power and privilege. The remaining people have to compete for the leftovers. The tension between the rich and poor has manifested itself in various forms in relation to prevailing political and economic conditions, from city-states to empires. The disparity of wealth and power visible everywhere, including the streets of US cities, has persisted across space and time. In its contemporary configuration in late-stage capitalism, elite-controlled economies, which entail the fusion of state and corporate power, are referred to as political economies. This is because economic relations are controlled by and are embedded in power relations. From the rise of the ancient pristine agrarian states to today, ruling elites have continually imposed codes of conduct, ideologies, and institutions to safeguard their wealth and power. Drawing on anthropological research into centralized societies past and present, this video explores how ruling elites have employed patently false and often absurd narratives to shape and control the minds and the bodies of subjects or citizens. The rulers of early agrarian states enjoyed levels of privilege and luxury far beyond the wildest imagination of ordinary people. They claimed to be gods on earth worthy of worship and were at the core of their society's religious life. Religious beliefs thus functioned to promote and legitimize their authority and actions. Anthropological and archaeological evidence indicates that religions often reflect the socio-economic and political organization of the societies that create them. Centralized, hierarchical social formations whose rulers assert divine authority, such as the ancient Egyptians, typically feature ranked pantheons mirroring the social hierarchy. Moreover, societies whose repressive rulers punish and reward citizens in this life tend to have deities who punish or reward human behavior in the afterlife, making religion a potent tool of behavioral control and governance through fear. The wealthy today, like the elites in the ancient states, also view themselves as inherently superior, almost divinely endowed, compared to ordinary people whom they rarely encounter outside of service roles and regard with contempt. The lives of billionaires and oligarchs today remain as insulated from the struggles of the common people as those of elites in ancient civilizations. Ever-increasing inequalities in wealth and power today make maintaining law and order a complex challenge compared to small-scale band or foraging societies, village-level communities, and tribes and chiefdoms. Today, the wealthy elites require extensive security, far beyond what local police forces can offer. This illustrates the inherent structural contradictions in such polities. However, ruthless state-sponsored violence has always been a ready option to keep subordinates in their place. Every state, ancient and modern, has employed police and paramilitary forces to crush political subversives, insurgents and criminals. Dissenters and malcontents are arrested, imprisoned, or they are maimed and killed. During totalitarian takeovers, or when such regimes feel threatened, they are especially prone to use violence against their citizens. The victims of such violence are often weak and powerless minorities who become scapegoats in the theatrical show of violence. They are randomly apprehended and battered for all to see before they are taken away. Historical examples of these tactics include Stalin's reign of terror in the Soviet Union between 1936 and 1938, when nearly 1 million perceived enemies of the state were executed and over 1 million were sent to labor camps. Another example is Mao Zedong's Cultural Revolution in Communist China from 1966 to 1976. This is when perceived enemies of the state were labeled counter-revolutionaries and were publicly humiliated, beaten, and deported to May 7 cadre communes for re-indoctrination, or they were executed. More than 2 million people lost their lives. This is a recurring tactic of autocratic regimes across space and time. However, the destruction by the state of its own citizens is a messy business and is ultimately unsustainable. But there exist many non-violent but effective ways of keeping citizens subservient and cooperative. The daily task of keeping discontented individuals and groups under control is carried out by institutions designed to confuse, distract, and demoralize potential troublemakers before they even take the first step toward resistance. Specialists who perform such ideological services in support of the status quo have existed in every state, ancient and modern. What is remarkable is that these thought control services are rendered in a manner and in contexts that seem completely unrelated to economic or political issues. As a result, people are often unaware of the psychological effects these forces have on them. As the American linguist and philosopher Noam Chomsky put it, the general population doesn't know what's happening, and it doesn't even know that it does not know. But how can one recognize the pervasive, insidious, and often veiled force of thought manipulation described here? The anthropological approach and its cross-cultural comparative perspective based on first-hand fieldwork is useful here. This allows us to understand other societies and what that knowledge reveals about our own cultural circumstances. Anthropologists examine how autocratic rulers, both past and present, employ a wide array of psychological techniques to maintain and legitimize their power, often at the expense of the well-being of the wider population. In the ancient states, magico-religious institutions were the principal means of thought control. Employing esoteric and occult concepts and elaborate rituals, these belief systems functioned to sanctify the power and privileges of those who rule. The kings of Sumer in Mesopotamia, the pharaohs of Egypt, the emperors of China, the Inca in Peru, and the Aztec rulers in the Valley of Mexico were all considered to be divine kings who were either gods incarnate or whose mandates came from the gods. Believers were frightened into thinking that disobedience would unleash heavenly wrath. Fear is a powerful means of thought control employed in the past and present. As the American author Michael Crichton put it, social control is best managed through fear. A remarkable example of an effective thought control enterprise based on fear was the religion of the Aztecs, built around a cosmology dominated by angry, bloodthirsty gods and administered by zealous priests. People were indoctrinated to believe that the gods could only be placated through the continual offering of still-beating human hearts, freshly torn from living bodies atop pyramids. This was deemed imperative because the existence of the world and the very continuity of the universe depended on the appeasement of the terrifying gods through human sacrifice. This belief made the Aztec priests who administered the ritual activities and the rulers who sponsored the priesthood indispensable. The sacrificial event was macabre theater carefully choreographed for powerful psychological effects. It was presided over by the Aztec ruler, priests, shamans, and officials. Crowds amassed on the ground below the pyramids, eagerly awaiting the unfolding of the spectacle. The Aztec sacrificial institution imposed a terrifying vision of reality, one that served the interests of those who promoted the narrative. But this vision proved grim for the commoners, who were expected to grovel in submission, revere the gods without question, go to war and offer up victims, even their own children, to appease imaginary supernatural entities. Religion in ancient Egypt had a similar function of sanctifying the elite. The pharaoh was regarded as a living god on earth, a divine intermediary between the powerful deities and humans and provider of good fortune. This sacred status was essential in legitimizing the pharaoh's rule and to maintain the cosmic order. Around these beliefs, the ancient Egyptian priests developed elaborate institutions, exorbitant rituals, and complicated procedures to mummify and preserve the pharaoh's body after death. The Egyptians also devoted immense resources and large-scale labor to construct elaborate pyramids and tombs designed to aid and secure the pharaoh's transition to the other world. Today, religion still serves to condition large populations to accept their harrowing economic circumstances and exploitation by promising rewards in an afterlife to compensate for the miseries of this one. Or religion lays the blame for suffering, sickness, and poverty on individuals themselves, as in the case of evangelical Christian sects in the United States. The proposed remedy is to urge believers to stop smoking, drinking, and fornicating to achieve a new, sinless identity. None of this unlimited bliss and salvation solves actual existential problems, such as poverty, unemployment, and the lack of adequate social services and healthcare. Evangelical Christian leaders want to create a white Christian theocracy. Their patriotic sermons bolster the political status quo. They indoctrinate their congregations on what to believe about Islam, transgender people, homosexuals, abortion, stem cell research, vaccines, evolutionary theory, science, and climate change, as well as how to vote. Believers are frightened with hellfire should they doubt these directives. Tapping into long-standing xenophobia and racism, the godly preachers incite the fear of foreigners and people of color, as well as the fear of communists, who have been the bogeyman of American politics since the 1940s. And finally, they instigate the fear of immigrants, all of which are deemed existential threats to be eradicated. But there are other instruments of psychological manipulation that are time-tested and extraordinarily effective. One of these is building monumental structures. State societies everywhere tangibly reinforce their sacred truths and the invulnerability of the rulers by dedicating a significant share of their resources to the construction of impressive edifices. From the pyramids of Egypt to the pyramid of Teotihuacan in the Valley of Mexico and the Gothic cathedrals of Europe, state-subsidized monumental architecture make the individual feel small, powerless, and insignificant. These imposing constructions demonstrate the futility of discontent and the invincibility of those who rule, as well as the glory of heaven and the omnipotence of the gods. Another way to pacify potential troublemakers is through public spectacles, by inviting people to identify with the ruling elite and to enjoy vicariously the pomp of state occasions and the lifestyles of the rich and famous that work against the alienating effects of poverty and exploitation. These include victory parades, religious processions, elaborate coronations, and space shuttle launches. During Roman times, the masses were pacified with gladiatorial contests, designed to distract and control the population through entertainment. These contests were carefully scripted spectacles of violence and death suited to the tastes of the audiences. The events were pure theater intended to evoke emotional response from the crowds. The emperors held the seat of honor, emphasizing their role at the apex of Roman society. The lavish spectacles demonstrated the immense wealth and resources at their disposal. The emperors appeared as generous patrons of the people, garnering popular support among the urban poor. Spectators in the arena were seated according to rank, and the arena affirmed the Roman worldview, social hierarchy, and the dominance of the elite. The Roman emperors also provided food to the spectators during gladiatorial games. The contests tangibly demonstrated the emperor's total control over life and death when he decided which gladiator lived or died, which underscored his quasi-divine authority. The psychologically powerful and dramatic displays of blood and gore captured the attention of the spectators, distracting them from their existential woes. Like many sports fans today, Roman citizens were more concerned with the performance statistics of their favorite gladiator rather than the latest scandal in the imperial court or their economic hardships and political subservience. The Roman poet Juvenal remarked, "Give them bread and circuses, and they will never revolt." He meant this to disparage citizens for trading their political rights and responsibilities for simple pleasures. Turning to the present, we now inhabit a post-truth world where truth is whatever you want it to be. With internet information echo chambers where bizarre beliefs appear daily and are reinforced, and where ceaseless outlandish conspiracy theories flourish. Truth has become optional. History is rewritten daily. Dissenting voices are dismissed as hoaxes and fake news, while a constant stream of falsehoods saturates public consciousness. With the rise of artificial intelligence, the boundary between reality and fabrication has become increasingly blurred. There are also other tools of psychological manipulation. Entire populations are conditioned to accept their servitude and are kept docile through a range of chemical and electronic opiates. Chemical opiates, such as tranquilizers, sleeping pills, antidepressants, and other feel-good substances, are widely dispensed to millions of people who need them to barely tolerate their existential circumstances. There is also self-medication with alcohol and illicit street drugs. As effective are what anthropologists call electronic opiates. These include movies, television shows, podcasts, YouTube videos, and information via the internet, delivered to mesmerized viewers through the air, via cable or satellite dish, directly into villages, towns, ghettos, and tenements. Digital opiates confer considerable psychological power, a fact pointed out long ago by Noam Chomsky. He said, "He who controls the media controls the mind of the public," which is why authoritarians move swiftly to seize and control the media. These are powerful ways of manipulating the consciousness of millions of entranced listeners and watchers, keeping them distracted and confused. Another tool is entertainment, such as organized sports, which possess powerful elements of thought control. Much like the spectators of gladiatorial games in ancient Rome, modern fans of sports like football or boxing are drawn into a spectacle that entertains and distracts. American football embodies key cultural themes, such as the acquisition of territory, team dynamics that resemble corporate structures, and halftime shows that highlight US popular culture and militarism. These not only reinforce cultural values, but also attract massive viewership and advertising dollars, an added bonus in a capitalist society that prizes profit and spectacle. The wealthy view the games from exclusive luxury suites equipped with premium amenities, often costing hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. Much like the elite seating at ancient Roman gladiatorial games, these exclusive spaces reinforce the American social hierarchy and the dominance of the rich and powerful. Many fans may insist that football is nothing more than harmless entertainment. This very perception is part of its power and influence. It directs attention away from political or economic issues. As a result, like the ancient Romans, many fans bet on and become more absorbed in their team's victories and defeats than in their own economic struggles. As George Orwell put it, football, beer, and above all, gambling filled up the horizon of their minds. To keep them in control was not difficult. One of the most potent instruments of ideological or thought control is a culture's system of education. Ambitious autocrats know this. During authoritarian takeovers, efforts are made to quickly seize the educational apparatus and use it to shape minds in desirable ways. The regime dictates which subjects may be taught, providing its own pseudo-scientific racist theories and fabricated and mythologized versions of history. At present in the United States, there are rigorous efforts to terminate academic freedom through surveillance and direct censorship by installing on-campus overseers or czars, appointed by regime ideologues, and by legislation to reshape academia, creating a setting where ideas that challenge the established order are suppressed. Evidence-based knowledge, critical thinking, and rationality, essential for a democratic system of governance, are increasingly viewed as dangerous and subversive. Moreover, science and scientific expertise are denigrated. Alternative facts, conspiratorial thinking, and bogus snake oil remedies are offered in their place. Educators and professors who challenge the dominant narrative now find themselves under heightened scrutiny, facing the threat of assault, dismissal, and even incarceration. In idiot America, which we have become, even reading books is now regarded with suspicion. Illiterate, low information, and stupid citizens are easy to sway and make good voters. A corollary of this is the systematic banning and burning of books, a practice perfected by the Nazis in Germany during the 1930s. Today, as if reliving the Red Scare contrived by the mendacious Republican Senator Joseph McCarthy, who advocated banning purported subversive books. A renewed and aggressive campaign to ban books has surged with a vengeance. Big Brother is on campus, and he is watching you. Big Brother is also watching everyone else. He has spyware and facial recognition technologies to pinpoint individuals within massive crowds. He monitors online purchases, social media behavior, financial transactions, political orientations, taxes paid, and a vast range of other personal data, from your place of birth to where you live, amount owed on your mortgage, and more. These developments put us on a trajectory similar to the Cultural Revolution in China, when professors, intellectuals, school officials, and journalists were accused of being class enemies, gangsters, terrorists, and revisionists. The accused were humiliated in front of crowds during what were called struggle sessions before imprisonment or execution. This video has traced across past and present the enduring strategies by which ruling elites preserve power and privilege. In conclusion, the most effective form of control is not sustained by constant force alone, but by the subtle management of everyday thought, through a persistent blend of ideological conditioning that defines what is seen as normal, possible, and inevitable, and reinforced by the ever-present threat of physical force, tear gas, pepper spray, batons, water cannons, bullets, and tanks. Thank you for watching. Please check out our other anthro-science videos.